Network.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Cosmic Television Network. I'm your host today, Emery Smith. I am a former United States Air Force veteran. I'm still a veteran, but I used to be in the United States Air Force. I worked through many different types of compartmentalized programs, dealing with tissue harvesting of tissues from unknown origin. I'm also a regenerative medicine specialist and clinical specialist, and I work right now with different types of diseases and cancers using frequency-based medicine. Nothing we say during this program is used to cure, treat, or do anything that might imply that we're trying to cure anyone. We don't do anything like that. Please contact your medical practitioner, your licensed medical physician for any health ailments or anything that you may have. We do talk, about different types of things every now and then. So I always have to do that little disclosure there to cover us, as you can probably imagine what goes on out there. If you like this kind of content, please follow us on the Cosmic Disclosure Alliance page on Facebook. We've been going strong now for a little over a year with over 10,000 followers with like-minded people, where you can get up-to-date information about my series, Cosmic Disclosure, on Gaia TV, the #1 TV show on Gaia TV. I know I have about 22 million people that watch me weekly on this, and it's really, we have an ambassador program right there. The link, you can click on that. It's really amazing. Just the stories and the people I get to meet. I've been doing this now for 10 years. I've interviewed the best of the best, some of the most highly credentialed, retired military intelligence officers. And it's great because it's, back when I came forward 10 years ago, there was not a lot of people that were out, and those that came out were killed. And, this is being a problem even now today. We have already lost, 6 people recently on our inner team. And thanks for all your prayers with that. And we always need protection. So thank you for all your prayers. So today, please check out, of course, EmeryStarLabs.com. www.emerystarlabs.com for all the cool up-to-date stuff and all the different types of products that we offer there. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to emerystarlabs@gmail.com. We also still do the full body nonlinear scans, very high tech stuff, reverse engineered from the James Webb Telescope that we have developed. And if you're still interested in the scans are also treatments, and we don't need to be present for those. We just need like a fingernail clipping or a hair follicle in your picture, because it measures the photons that are being reflected off your body. Really high tech stuff. If you have a loved one, you guys want to know what's going on, this is just strictly experimental stuff. Please write into emerystarscan@gmail.com, where my wife Darla or myself will answer any questions you might have scientifically about it. And how to get signed up for that, just go to emerystarlabs.com. The other website we have is emerysmith.co. And this is our older website. This is where a lot of our videos and stuff we have kept on there. We're transitioning those over to YouTube right now, because we're doing a YouTube subscription right now. We're really excited about, and it's going to make it a lot more cost effective for people. These webinars sometimes are $40 to $120 a person, depending, who's on there, if it's David Adair or if it's just someone new that we want to introduce you to. We try to make it super cost effective, and that's weekly. So now you can get the entire month for anywhere from we have three programs, like $10, $25, and a $50 program for those that want to give a little bit more and help the team out here. And how we, there's a lot of orchestrating involved to take the day off and to, market this and get it out there and edit it for the masses. And I think this information is really important. Like the information we're going to talk about today with YssaH Libien, and a really great friend of mine. She's really at the forefront of all the archaeological, artifacts that are going on in Mexico, including the Bugosphere from South America. We've been recently working together this past year and conjoining our great abilities with physics and 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th dimensional readings of these different types of languages that are out there. And I think it's important for you guys to hear this. It does sometimes, when YssaH's a very intelligent person, very well connected, and she brings those two sciences together. We have some amazing, great conversations behind the scenes. And usually people at the dinner table go silent and they're listening like, what the heck are they talking about? But, we did work with some of the same people back in the day with Nassim and some others with these artifacts. I've been working on these things for, oh my gosh, maybe 15 years. And it was great to get my team members hooked up with her team members so they can work this out. I'm working on other stuff, and I just do some forensics on it. I look at these different types of skulls and the different types of artifacts they find. I do tissue analysis for them. And, I have access to some amazing equipment, of course. And it's good to know like what's real, what's not real, and the story behind it, because all these artifacts tell a story. I know YssaH's been patient waiting in the backstage. YssaH, welcome to the show. Let's see if we can get her up here. Well, I'll keep talking while they're getting her on here. Yeah, so, she does these amazing trips down there. She has these amazing artifacts. You should ask her or contact her. Oh, there she is, YssaH. Oh, there she goes. She just dematerialized. All right. I know Cameron's working on that. YssaH's actually over in, I think, she's in the UK. She's in England. Maybe she's in London doing the YssaH conference with Danny. There she is. You keep dematerializing in and out. This is what happens when we get on. Last time we get on, we got cut off a couple times.
Yes.
And that's a really great sign of the energy involved with this. I'm really excited to have this because, we have some great conversations. And I think there's so much information, of course, updates on the stuff you have, which we understand. And other than that, I do want to explain to people, tell us a little bit, how most people are watching this it because they know you or I, and they're like, okay, what's going on with all these crazy things going on? And I know you have these updates coming up, but first let's talk about, the way that you and I talk, is basically kind of a foreign language of quantum physics and the holographic, looking at whether it's a language or something on the artifact, the writings, which are all kind of maps. And all those are kind of like programs that you can look at when we do these in the projects too. A lot of the craft we have acquired have all these glyphs on them. The glyphs are not a 2D writing though. And that's the whole secret behind this. And this is one of the amazing talents that you have. And not a lot of people can do this. It's really difficult, and I really admire that, and, you got a lot to work with this because it does hold the past, the present, and the future of everything. Like the whole universe is unfolded on these messages, but everyone's just trying to read, well, what does this design mean? And they're trying to do this deciphering, and that's definitely not how you look at this. This is more of a download of a different type of language. And she's going to take over here in a second. Don't worry, I got like 15 seconds. And that was a joke, YssaH. And I'm not dumbing it down, but I want people to understand that everything is not always as it seems. You might think that's just a rock in the shape of an L. Well, there's something. If you took that rock and you took it to the 2D, it would look like an L on a piece of paper. If you took it to the 4D, you're adding another dimension, 5th, 6th, 7th, all the way up to as many dimensions you want to go. And breaking that down is what YssaH does. And it forms different shapes. And shapes are the language of the universe, not just the shapes create sound.
Yes, they do.
What can you add to that?
Yeah.
Go for it,
Well,
Isha. You need at least 10 hours to do this, but we're giving you two.
oh, come on. I had already prepared for 11.
Okay. We'll have the extended version. We'll keep going if people want to stay.
Okay. So, well, first of all, thank you for having me, Emery. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, Darla, of course. It's always a pleasure to collaborate with you. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited, mainly after the rise of the Guardians, like all those
Oh my
codes
goodness.
that came through, that we were so excited about this, what I call the evolution of the human race,
Yeah.
what is coming up for the human race, and how this is related precisely to the alien artifacts. Because as you perfectly said, there are many ways to decode them, not only the writing, yet also the artifact itself.
Right.
Sometimes perhaps you will just see a skull or a tablet, or perhaps like I don't know, like even a seahorse. The other day we found a seahorse. Like that was really strange, from all the artifacts that have been pulled out of the ground. I never ran into a seahorse. So, but
So what do
anyway,
you think?
it's
Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
Because
Well,
I'll get off on a tangent of seahorses, but go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, that's a huge topic, and mainly for the one that also will keep it, like the Guardian, because that's also another whole story, the very intimate relationship that the person has with the artifact itself. Because we think that it's just about acquiring art, but it's not like that. And
Hmm.
mainly because, for instance, when you're talking about having like more long-term projects about this, like as we have as the Earth Arc mission,
Right.
the foundation, the multi-layered foundation that I am part of, that I will talk about later. But just addressing to what you were saying for now, is that for instance, when we talk about the writing and converting symbols into sound, we are very much familiar to converting sound into geometries, which is cymatics. The Chladni plates, the usage of the Chladni plates, which John
Right.
Stuart Reid has been doing like a very
Yeah.
good job, and his research
Hmm.
is amazing, mainly in the Great Pyramid. That's when I came up with that, because just for the ones that don't know, we had this John Stuart Reid went to the Great Pyramid and was doing
Hmm.
tests with what was some PVC plates and an electronic oscillator, to generate the
Yeah.
frequency. And the thing is that normally when you do that, when you put those components together, or metal plates, as we know,
Yeah.
you get very symmetrical geometries. And to our surprise, because I'm very much included, even though I wasn't there, there was he put the frequencies in the sarcophag, in the granite box, and these hieroglyphs started to appear. So, like letters,
So
not
that's how you put
cymatic.
it together, is because of that situation.
Exactly. That's how
Mhm.
I said. Okay, so if the crystals of the granite box is, or the composited stone is generating this, it has this type of memory encoded and capable to go beyond the nature of the cymatics, and giving a unique message,
Mhm.
then I can interact in that way with everything. So then the symbols carry the frequency of their own. So that's how I designed the spectral geometry transceiver, which has the purpose of converting symbols into sound. So in a very specific process, because of course it's not just one tangent, it's like I go through diagram flux, I go through, well, first is working with the angles of the very same symbol, because actually angles is what makes geometry. And depending on the angles that each symbol or letter has is the specific harmonics that they are creating.
Mhm.
So once I decode the angles that each symbol is creating, then I transfer that into the computer as a diagram flux. So then it will start creating a type of not binary code, but a trine code. So then that trine code is creating a geometry per se. So then from that geometry is that I put the two components together of the angles and the measurement of the angles and the harmonics that they are creating through eigenvalues, which is like a formula to eigenmodes, eigenvalues to actually work with triplets of triplets, which is the very same nature that our own biology has, our biotechnology, because our mitochondria, our microtubules, and all of the liquid crystalline structure in our water communicates through triplets of triplets. By means of this, they create trine groups that start rippling, you know, across a scale, terahertz, megahertz, and so forth.
Interdimensionally, it goes on. Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's just, like, for the audience, because I get it, you have a triangle, all right, and then you can triple that. Okay, now you have a pyramid, or you triple that, and it keeps going. And the thing is, it just doesn't end at a double tetrahedron or a Merkaba. It actually is going somewhere to open something, maybe.
Exactly, and that's exquisite because it leads to the vector equilibrium, what Nikola Tesla used a lot, the 369. And the vector equilibrium resulting into that, we know that it's one of the most stable geometries, like the isotropic vacuum field. So again, like just breaking it down, it all goes to the same source. It all comes from the same source, and it all goes to the same source. It's just how we work with the different gradients of light, so, and that's the beauty of it, because then that's what creates colors, that's what creates different forms, shapes, and so forth. So once I put those together, those components together that are mirroring in a fractal, in a holofractal form with your biology, and therefore with everything, with the cosmos, as you were saying, then it creates, I put it in the computer, and then it creates a frequency. And the best way that I had to prove it was with the Boogosphere, as you know, as I was sharing. Yeah. So that for me, because sometimes something is to design or create something, but perfectly as an epic inventor. Another thing is to prove it, that confirmation. So when you receive that confirmation, then that's like, wow, mission accomplished.
Well, for me, when I prove something, then I'm my own worst devil's advocate, because then, like I did with other devices, as you know, with our friends, I then spend years just trying to disapprove it, because that's the first thing everyone's going to try to do.
Beautiful.
And so it's like you approve, isn't it just, it's like elation that, oh my gosh, I just figured this code out. Okay, what are they going to say now? What are the universities going to say? And I have tons of white papers from all the major universities published on all my developments and patents for medical stuff. But they're going to come back and they're going to be like, well, there's always going to be that, which is great, because that's what the scientific community is about. And that's why I'm glad you're taking it to the next step, which we'll get into. I'm really proud that you're going to have other universities now get involved, and other qualified scientists that understand, this new quantum physics.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate it very much, because this is actually my next step. I remembered when I was living in Egypt, and I was going every day to the pyramid, and like 3 hours, 4 hours, I knew the guards by then. So it was like, hey dude, so, and then, I could just spend hours. And the thing is that one of in one of those times, I this huge message came to me, and I designed. I even, just drew what came to me, and then a friend of mine kindly helped me digitalizing it. So it's what at that moment came as the upgrade of the pyramids, and how to use very specific technologies that will be pulled out of Earth as the power sources of these constructions, which involve, for instance, in this case, they are eggs made of granite and other like geopolymers, other type of things, but egg-shaped forms. Then the person goes inside, and then from the back there are some cables that go all the way, not connected to the person itself, of course, but to the egg, and then aligned to very specific points in the body. So from those cables, what will be happening is a superconductivity that you will have 9 eggs, and those 9 eggs in a circle at the center, water, along with a very specific power source that will be varying depending the purpose. And then all the eggs will have a triangle outside of it, so I'm just, of course, explaining, but I will share with you later
you have some great visuals that of course we're going to walk through, and whenever
Yes.
you want those, just say, hey Cameron, I've seen all the videos and visuals, and whatever, this is all about you and getting this information out, the technology, and understanding it's super complicated for most. It's really, I know it's a challenge, but you've conquered that. So always, whatever you want to bring something up to show the audience, it's fine.
Yes, thank you. Well, actually, I think you know how it goes. I will share it with you, and then exactly. But I will love to show it to the audience. Yeah, once it's already built. So to keep that. And but my point was, ever since I felt that I also love to be an inventor. I love, as you know, science, and passionate about it, creating things in many ways, not only devices. So these systems are the first ones. I also created the what I call RFOL, which is Reference Frame Operative Language, which is decoding the letters, yet at different levels, like also how they express at a quantum level, how they express for the very same angles, how they how to measure them through the angles, and how they create together a story, but not a story in a linear form, yet at a quantum level. What symbol is creating what? How are these geometries interacting with one another? How just imagine, because I do want to transmit this to the beautiful audience joining us. So you have a symbol, and you picture it, as in a paper sheet or in a tablet. So then imagine that, as in the movies, you start projecting energy to that bidimensional form. It starts to enrich and project holographically, because the energy that you're projecting to it, what it's doing is accelerating the spin of every particle that it's constituting it. So now you have a bunch of particles that are creating that geometry, that are spinning fastly, which is what it's actually sustaining that holographic projection, harnessing, like that plasma coherence. So now that geometry that is composed by infinite small spheres and creating an overall sphere is interacting in a unique way with the other spheres. So that is creating sound, as you said. That is creating, and then you can go to actually see, let's say, like with us, like zoom into each sphere to see the story, the specific story that it is creating. And for instance, in some of the tablets that I have come up with through this translator, is they're telling how to operate the Bugaspheres.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's an instruction book. You just had to, dissect it and activate it.
Yes, exactly. And to be honest, it's more simple than what you would expect. Well, you don't know, of course. You know.
Well, no, I want you to explain it, because the whole thing is, for when you and I get together, we talk about this. It's about, getting that message out, like you said, and actually kind of teaching the people, yeah, we went through all this to figure that out, but really anyone can do this.
Yes.
You can by thought sequencing, like you just said, have that holographic image in your thought. It's great if you had something solid to start with, but you don't need that. You can project that. And one of the coolest things that that I work with, of course, restructured water and things like that, is about the spin rate, and the spins of the particles, of the electrons, neutrons, photons, all this stuff atomically. Once you know the science, it's easier to to project that when you understand that. But you can start really simple, and anyone can do this, which in the future, that is our future. and we do this with healing people with our technologies, and that's what Reiki masters do too. So it's all about being able to understand, zooming in like you're doing, and saying, oh wait, there's more. Oh, let's go into this. Oh, there's more. And then it's like,
Yes.
I look at, when I'm explaining my technology, I'll say it's like taking a picture and you keep zooming in with your iPhone to see, what kind of necklace Isha's wearing. And then all of a sudden, imagine if you could do that indefinitely.
Yes, exactly. It's a never-ending story. Like going deep into the eye, like this eye, going into the eye, and then density after density after density after density, and so forth. Now that you were saying that, I remembered, I got this in a very specific layer with the last experiment that we did on the Bugasphere, when we, a friend of mine, very dear friend of mine, David Avila, he designed the machine that they used for this experiment. And it was manufactured by Clemente, an engineer, a very good one. So the thing is that the purpose was to make the Bugasphere spin. So, and to see if it, like, what happened, like if it generated the energy of its own and so forth, and it did. The anomaly, one of the biggest anomalies, was that at 150 revolutions per, yes, exactly, per minute, RPM, it started to create its own energy, 2,100 Tesla, and then it started losing weight. In 20 minutes, it lost 2.8 kilo. So, and after it stopped, it gained them again. So if we say we're talking about the spin, and perhaps the beautiful people joining us, they will say, well, how can you translate that in another way? So this is what I came up with. So for instance, normally, let's imagine that we are like the Bugasphere. We're not spinning as properly or as effectively as we should. So then we are existing, we're creating our own reality, yet we are not capable to levitate. We're not capable, to harness our connection to that cosmic nexus as the Bugasphere is connected. Of course, the Bugasphere is a machine. Of course, we are organic beings. But the point is the spin. So now imagine, as the Bougainville showed, through the spin, it lost weight. It is how it generates, like a Levitic technology, and of course the connection of to the nexus or the interface that it is connected to. So the more that our particles get to spin effectively, as we have spoken, through the structured water or the fourth state of water, through, in the case of what I came up with, like the phosphorus. I mean, if we look the phosphorus, how much is it, or the phosphate ions, how very much involved they are with the major processes of energy production in our body. Like, just to say the ATP, that the mitochondria are doing, which is the oxidative phosphorylation. So the more that there is energy production, the faster the spin will it be, the higher the dielectric field that we will be generating, the more torsion that our DNA does, and the higher that phosphate starts to, to follow its own nature, which is glowing, because we know that the phosphor is that's why it's known as the light barrier, because actually it glows. And even in the mothers, like the motors are generating a higher electric field, because it's not only theirs, it's now the babies as well. So they are the level of coherent water of the fourth state of water that they are generating, it's higher because they are harnessing more electric field. Even the heartbeat of the mother with the baby are aligned. So how powerful is that? How powerful our body. I would love for, like, now that we're talking about this, what is your input on the phosphorus? And because it's also, for instance, it's very much also present in the DNA-Z, as we were talking about the other day, and the DNA-Z being the only DNA that is spinning counterclockwise in our DNA. And it's also present in the mitochondrial genome. Our mitochondria, as we know, it has a different DNA. And for me, when we start amplifying the electricity in our body, we're also enabling the unlocking, the reactivation, the reignition of those dormant genes that are located in our introns and very much related to our RNA, mitochondrial RNA, and nuclear RNA.
Yeah, absolutely. I can explain that. So what we're doing, in the medical, arena with this is, it's been done for a while. It's called photomodulation. And when we're talking about, phosphorus, and we're talking about light, you're active. I love when you shine the light on some of these and they start, glowing, because you're activating that spin rate through light, and light wants to keep going because light is everywhere all the time. Even in black holes, there's light. There's millions of spectrums of light we can't see. We can only see in a few because that's the way we're engineered. But we're actually capable of seeing a lot more. We're just not activated for that. So the light is the secret. Even like when you talk about RNA from the mitochondria, and you're talking about the organelles of the cells, which are all these, cytoplasmic reticuli, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, all these things have their own spin rate. And most importantly, I want you to think of that as each one of the organelles also have their own toroidal field expansion. And they are different. They're not the same. That's why they can operate. That's why you and I operate differently, and everyone is different because of this different toroidal expansion at a really molecular level, really small level. So when you have all these different toroids going on, what do you think is happening? It's actually trying to pull in the light. And the light is the secret behind all this stuff. It's sound and light that you're going to find out are the secrets behind this. And a lot of the coding that you've already shared with me over the past year, when I look at it, I kind of chuckle because I know what you're drawing. I know what you're deciphering, because it is about bringing that light in to get the activation. Now, when you're spinning something, don't forget, when you're spinning something, you're reflecting light, refraction and reflection of light. And what's light doing now? It's creating this anti-gravitic code to like make this thing lighter. And a lot of the craft I worked on did the exact same thing. The reason that they were also alive, a lot of these craft, was because of that specific thing, that they have DNA, they have a little bit of cellular biology, synthetic, that it actually can, you know, spin and bring the light in, create their own density fields and do all this stuff. And that's kind of the secret behind it.
I love it, and it makes complete sense because the being that is behind the Bugasphere, I mean the main one, the leading one, communicated directly with me. You know, it presented to me, and of course, you know, it's not like the being is there itself, as you know. But we have seen also this in artifacts. There is, let's say, iron oxide, you know, ferrite oxide, you know, so which is iron, you know, so and that iron can be coming from many sources, you know, perhaps that could even be blood, but perhaps that blood is precisely for DNA, for transferring consciousness, as I believe that we have already
It's magnetic, like you just said. You know, the ferrous material, don't forget, is a highly magnetic frequency, and you know, it absorbs and reflects. That's what creates the anti-gravitic stuff. And
yes,
yeah, and if you go even deeper into that, and that's why, you know, probably get in trouble for saying this, that's why neodymium is very important. It's not just about the magnets. You know, neodymium is a holographically reproducible thing, and you're going to find a lot more about. That's why we, you know, the United States is looking for these, you know, places to go for rare earth minerals. So this is like the basis of really how everything kind of operates on a very small quantum field of existence beyond the Planck scale. So
yeah. Could you correlate to that, for instance, the cinnabar, the red mercury?
Well, the red mercury, which is real. I know people don't think it's real, but it is real. We found it. We've seen it before. They've had it in their projects. You've seen it. You know, and the thing with red mercury, don't forget, you know, the reason our red blood cells are red is because of the iron molecule. It's a red molecule. And if we didn't have that, then, you know, it would be something else. You know, it might be pink from neodymium. Oops, I said. Oops. but yeah, so there's lots of or lavender. Yeah, so there's different types of the wavelengths that, you know, because don't forget, those molecules, the structures that they're trying to say is, hey, it's not just the ferrous, it's not just the iron molecule. Why don't you go look into that? Keep going, because that's going to break up this entire another plethora of, I could just see the tree roots just spreading out from this discovery, because that's kind of what they want us to do, is discover this on our own. But here's a little bit over here. Here's a little bit here, you know, that you're getting through your channeling, and you're getting through actually putting the time in to like try to figure out, well, what's next? Why is it that way?
Yeah. Like for instance, in the last expedition, and there are some videos about it. Not only, you know, like the Indiana Jones like quest that I experienced, which was wonderful to say the least. Yet also there are hints, you know, like you wonder, why are they showing some, not all of the races, some of the races like in with that phosphorescence composition from the geopolymer, you know, why is it glowing? And then perhaps you say, oh, it's something decorative. You know, merely decorative. But I think that it's showing the nature of those beings, you know, that they could glow, you know, that they can glow actually, and where we're heading to.
Yeah, so a lot of the extraterrestrial beings that I've worked with are interdimensional beings. So those beings, when you leave this dimension, you know, kind of like the light being picture that I show everyone, that's one essence of what, you know, transdimensional beings have already adapted to. It's not that far away, fourth, fifth, sixth dimension, where it's right around the corner. We're actually already there, a lot of us that are watching this. And that's like the first baby steps into understanding that and accepting, hey, I am light. That's why you can see me, because everything is emitting this light. And the phosphorescence is they're light. We're all light beings.
Exactly.
So when you keep going through the DNA, through the RNA, into the chromosomes, and you're opening and keep opening up these different, platonic solids, and there's new platonic solids. That's really going to be a big ruckus right there. And
Yes.
and the shapes are creating this refraction of light. And that's why crystals are like, everyone loves crystals, because they reflect light and they give off energies and light that we can't see. We can see how beautiful that crystal is, but even the dark crystals are giving off things that people are attracted to. Certain people are attracted to certain crystals because that body needs that energy from that reflection. And when you look at the DNA, it's a crystalline structure. The body as a whole is a crystalline structure. When we look at your aura, we're measuring photons coming off your body. When we're doing these diagnostic testing, we're looking at the energy field around you and measuring those photons reflecting out of the body, showing us, okay, this is the area that needs to be zoomed in on. Why are those why is that crystalline structure of the body here being compromised? And then it goes into other things like emotional states and other connecting to different dimensions and interdimensional realities that people bring with them through their DNA. It's not like they're cursed or anything. It's just that travels with you. DNA from hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years are still within you. And that's what we come to. Everything is enfolded.
Yes. Yes. I love how you said it, and it brought me to the rainbow body. Like for instance, we're organically emitting photons. As this transmission of these protons, these tiny bodies. Like across the scales, these black holes you were mentioning. Like our eyes are having that behavior of the black hole receiving light, and emitting light and so forth. So, and if we go again across the scale, taking into consideration our protons as tiny black bodies that then are interacting with one another. So then you go all the way into the tissue, and then how we actually achieve refracting light, not only refracting, yet emitting, our own light. Where is that light coming from? Because it's not only from a linear feedback from our surrounding, it's also coming from a quantum level, from the quantum field, that what we cannot see, that could be, in other words, saying from within, and we are emitting all the way to our surrounding. So the rainbow body, for the ones that are not very much familiar to that, is what we can achieve. Actually, it's like this state that you get to emit photons from your body, but you get to harness it at such level that this is what I see. You have your electromagnetic field, let's say. So what you're emitting from your physical body, all those photons are hitting to the coherence of your electromagnetic field. So then they are, it's like they are firing back. So then that is creating, that rainbow projection, which is like photoluminescence. Like when you take a photocopy, you make a photocopy. So then it's creating that radiance, and then it's so much energy. It's not like you're just expanding it. It's coming back at you in such a coherent way that then you start firing up your body, firing it up, and it's all in gradients of light, so then you become that rainbow body. It's like, and of course, again, the spin is going so fast. I don't know if you have seen these pictures of how these monks their field starts to create this lotus flower pattern, besides all that reflection of this rainbow light.
Yeah, a good example before we go on is, a good example of this is ever since forever, you see the prism and light goes through it, white light. And all of a sudden you have these colors on the wall as a kid, these little pyramids and little crystals. Well, that is just from a pyramid. Imagine if you did that through a Merkaba, a crystal Merkaba. I have one here. And all of a sudden, that rainbow is now 12 points of rainbows everywhere. Because now you have, you might have 12 pyramids on there. You might have 24 pyramids on there. So I'm just bringing in what you said is the more of these reflections of the different types of geometric shapes, because a dodecahedron is completely different. And when they start firing all this light, you're building those geometric crystals that are already in you, you're activating them, and then you're saying, oh, let me bring light in through my meditation like the monks do. Yeah. Let me spin the top Merkaba this way, the top of the Merkaba this way, and the bottom of the Merkaba, the two pyramids in the opposite directions. Now you're creating this opening of light that allows the light to come in from source, because we're still generated from source, regardless of what everyone wants to believe. And that keeps coming in. That's what keeps us going, because we're all connected. And that's why we're very emotional beings, because of the light that we pick up from everyone and everything going on the world, the planet, and everywhere.
Now that you were saying this, another example that came to my mind was the popcorn. When you put it in the microwave, like they start, like opening up, and then they fire to the container, and they go back until you get like the full bag full of popcorn. Of course, you're not a popcorn, but what I mean, the way that they are firing up from your body and having that immediate feedback from your electromagnetic field, which if we go deep, imagine having the feedback of your own electromagnetic field, like through your own light. Because again, when we talk about refraction, you were mentioning about these crystals and how they project into the wall, or like, just to say one example. Mm-hmm. But for me, one thing that truly mesmerizes me is like the depth of what refraction is, which is light coming into us, and then once it reaches to our existence, it redirects to another way by means of this. It will never be the same once it touches our field, because now it's a whole new universe. That light is a whole new universe directing somewhere else. So now imagine doing that, accelerating that with your own field, and having the feedback from your own electromagnetic field, giving an immediate feedback. How cannot you achieve enlightenment in that way? It's like the ultimate state of mirroring yourself through light. Light. Anyway,
it's beautiful. Yeah, and you do have facets within your crystalline structure, and like you just said, just to reiterate, when the light comes in and you're trying to build that light and do great things and be positive, there's facets that are just like, there's every time you learn something, they say you get a new crease in your brain. Every time that you achieve another state of consciousness or do a really good deed, you create facets in your crystals, which actually keep the light in your crystalline structure to make you more impervious to electromagnetic fields, to the negativity that might be around you. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's very rare I'll talk about the refraction of yourself in your biofield, which actually is really important for health and, astral travel, and for meditation, and for linking up to our friends and getting information, because that is also the communication highway of light.
Yes, and I absolutely love it. When you were saying how all these interdimensional beings, these multidimensional beings, are already in one expression of themselves, light, as ourselves, because because we are all light, and I couldn't agree more, is like the more coherent that we become, the more that we don't have like any issue about traveling, interdimensionally, like throughout the like at different densities, and having issues with our molecular body, like uh having inconsistencies, like perhaps you went completely, and then you just came out back from the wormhole as a Picasso painting, you know uh
Oh man, I hate when I get trapped in those paintings. What do I do? Oh my god.
It's like just blowing the globe, and then you come back again to the same shape.
Inside joke, everyone. Inside joke.
Yeah. Yeah, but seriously, like now connecting with the artifacts, I don't know if you come around want to show the videos of these last expeditions, so that people can see,
I saw
you
all of them,
know
of course. Yeah.
yes,
Do you want to
yes,
show one? You mean, is there something you want to show?
yes, actually I sent them to
All
Cameron, and
right.
he,
All
yeah.
right. Let's see what he'll put up, and he can share screen share, and you can tell him which one to play. Or, yeah, I mean, fascinating. I love all that stuff. That was what I've done my whole life: archaeology, paleontology.
What makes you feel the most passionate about in these expeditions?
Well, it's really I mean, of course, the artifacts are amazing. It's why the artifacts were made. We know who made them, and we have an idea that there was many involved. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just one race, and they're working together. And this is like their way of saying, "Here's the puzzle. Figure it out." And it's really about the coding that you're doing, which is what I'm glad you're doing. I don't have time for all that. I love helping you out and giving you some tips here and there, but really it's about getting the coding, because the coding is what shows us.
Start removing all the rocks. You can see, let me just move a little bit. This was a place that we had already excavated.
Una entrada a una cueva.
We had already excavated. You see how deep it is? So this is a process of several excavations. And now I just started removing what it looked like a crack, and I found, we're all here. We found the chamber. So let's keep on doing.
Yeah, go to the next one, because go to the next one. I know where you want to go.
10 feet back, and then there's a chamber going down.
Go to where the chamber's open,
Can't see the floor of it, though.
You see?
Whoa, is that like a square wall?
Yes, it's a squared wall.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like
it looks like a square
Cameron,
wall.
can you
or it
go
goes
to
to the
the
left
one where the
behind that.
chamber's
Looks like that
open?
wall
Because I know
ends.
she has a lot of these videos, and I know you have a lot of the videos, and they could go on for the whole show, but let's get to that exciting part.
Yeah. Well, you can listen my voice, how excited it is, because actually this is the first like tunnel that we ran into in that manner, so
Now, these are the geopolymer artifacts. These are not like real skulls. These are the geopolymer artistic work that have encoded not only on the outside, but there's also messages that are embedded into this coding. So it's like, there's a lot of the sciences out there that show you can look at something, and we can put programs into these subliminal messages that your light body can read. And that's how a lot of light workers work when they're speaking of the light.
There we go.
So pause that, Cameron, let her explain this.
Well, we can see that we found here several crystal skulls, as Emery was saying, and the concrete itself around the chamber Sometimes it's geopolymer itself, because sometimes it glows at night. We have done expeditions at night and the walls glow. So then you can see that, of course, it's a mix of different components, the concrete that that is surrounding the chambers. And then we have like what will normally be considered by the mainstream archaeology as a ceremonial burial, which is not the body itself, but just, like honoring through artifacts a very specific being. And the location is in Mexico, Rachel. So there were 4 skulls. One of them like super heavy, which is the one at the right, the one that doesn't look so elongated, made of pure jadeite, serpentine jadeite.
Oh, wow. That's important to know.
Yes.
Yeah, serpentine.
Yes. So and for instance, the one behind, it's a conehead crystal skull, rose quartz crystal skull, which I have shared, and that's the image that we showed, actually.
The pink one behind the larger skull, right?
Exactly. The other ones are quartz crystal, and then all the other artifacts are quartz crystals. So even behind the middle, the elongated skull at the center, there is what is known as Atlante of Tula, and Tula Atlantean. That's the name that were given, that they received here in Mexico. And they were known as priests. They would deliver knowledge, kind of thought, Tehuti, that type of title.
Expeditions that I have done.
And to our surprise,
like from the very beginning,
like for me, this is a huge code. And if you, Cameron, after this, if you want to show the one glowing in the dark,
go to that next
the Atlantean.
One, yeah.
Thank you.
So why do you think, well, I'll throw it at you. Why do you think that one was so heavy? You're talking about this, which was the heavy one, the serpentine one or the
serpentine? The serpentine.
Yeah, that's a much denser, that's very dense. Yeah, serpentine.
Super compacted. Yeah. Well, the more compacted is, the richer the alchemical composition, right? It's like
it is, and it's more conductive. And serpentine, that mineral, that kind of stone, has been known throughout thousands and thousands of years on many expeditions I've been on in the past 40 years to been a choice. We've actually found serpentine objects and devices on crafts.
Yeah.
So this is the black light.
Yes.
On what do you call this device? Because I know it has a capstone on it.
Yeah, actually, it's the image or the statue of the Atlantean, the Tula Atlantean. Yet again, to our surprise, it had a helmet. The helmet is the head that they normally use to reference these Atlanteans as human beings. But this statue is showing that it's a helmet, and that underneath there is a conehead being that glows in the dark, and only the head is glowing, not the body. So for me, this is a very clear message. You don't need to...
the light through the crown chakra. The head is the light and the existence for the body.
Yes, and that perhaps they were just suits. Like what we get to see as the Atlanteans is just a suit. And underneath, there were these conehead beings, because this is not the first conehead representation that we have found. We have found several conehead crystal skulls throughout this area,
Mhm.
which means that they were highly present at that time. You know,
So
and
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I want to we're already kind of assuming everyone knows what geopolymers are. Let's do a quick
Yes,
background, just a 5
yes,
minutes on, so the extraterrestrials and the Terra Atlanteans and these other ancient civilizations were taught, how to mix different forms of Earth's own natural occurring rocks, crystals, phosphorus, all these different elements, which were made by sound. So we know these are not really like hand carved, and we've proven
exactly.
this with Machu Picchu in Egypt, where the rocks are perfectly just, you can barely put a credit card in there. And people are always thinking, were they poured? They were actually made with sound. And it forms and activates. And a lot of these, some of the larger rocks that we find in the megaliths do have those little bubbles in them. I call it the pancake effect, because the best way I can think about it is when I make pancakes and I tap the pan, the bubbles come out. And that means the energy was coming, that wasn't from heat, but the energy was coming from within and then pushing the oxygen molecules out. And the reason for that is because it makes a more denser polymer. So when we say geopolymer, we're saying they're adding something to Earth's natural occurring rocks and minerals to form these different types of things. Is
Exactly.
that kind of a description of that, or do you want to add to that?
No, I think you defined it very, very well, of course. It just reminded me, for instance, we know that now that you were talking about Machu Picchu and of course Egypt and other, like Greece, Turkey, like all these ancient sites that they have.
Mexico, yeah.
Mexico, yes. In Mexico, interestingly enough, the huge monoliths are like stacked stone. Well, only in one state
Yeah.
have been found so far, Oaxaca.
Right.
But anyway, but anyway,
Yeah.
so the thing is that you mentioned sound, and this is how before knowing about geopolymers, this is how I would always describe the blocks in these ancient sites, these humongous blocks, that each one would play on a specific frequency. So it's like playing keynotes, like, and they would be, or they are creating music. So they come from music and they create music, which reminded me also of the spectral geometry transceiver. It's
Right.
everything.
And a special tonality too. Not only can they mold that into any shape, so it's seamless, but they can also make it anti-gravitic, so they can easily move these things into place.
Exactly.
And then zap it. So all this is happening at the same time when they were building these megaliths, and also these amazing pieces of art, which are really communication devices and instructions. It's kind of like, we're looking at glyphs in Egypt and we're reading the stories, which are 2D stories. But there's a lot more behind. There's a lot more behind it, as far as breaking it down to the quantum, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional holographic state.
Yes.
Look at that. What is that?
Oh, that is a magnet-shaped artifact that has 2 serpent heads, and at the bottom.
It looks like R2B2, my dogs.
In a very
dragon.
good day. In a good day.
It looks like
it
looks like a magnet. It looks like the shape of a horseshoe. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a magnet-shaped artifact. Yes.
Have you done any conductivity with copper or anything with this one?
No, but I have one, because that will be kept by for any specific project that we have going on.
Yeah, I saw that one. Right.
Yeah, but yet I have one made of white quartz, white crystal, quartz crystal. So that one is also, it's like that one, but made of this white crystal. So the first thing that came to me is an activation bringing in the energy. So now that you mentioned the copper, it will be interesting to do some testings about that. As you know, there are so many things taking place that right now regarding to the experiments, I have been not able to do any experiment at all, like
Right. No,
since
I
it,
understand.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
but I will get that copper and then I will call you and then we can do some experiment.
Yeah, I would put a small copper rod between the teeth, like a straw, and then I would wrap it with a small, like maybe a 22 gauge or 18 gauge wire all the way around, and then attach. Once you wrap it all the way around with maybe a centimeter apart, and then attach it to the ends of the copper, just to see what happens. I mean, down the road. I mean, I know you're working on the deciphering and other more important things right now, which is great. And that's why it's important to fund YssaH and fund our projects that we do, because a lot of these things we're all volunteers. We're just doing this. It's not like we're getting paid to do this. She's dedicated her whole life just doing all this work and volunteering, and I think it's just fantastic. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Emery. Likewise. And now that you brought that up, as a co-founder of the Earth Hour Commission, we are very much now. We have been doing some. Now that you were saying that experiment, other type of experiments involving frequency generators and finding the optic axis and of every artifact and see how they will be reacting to supercoils, like those type of experiments, and also others. Because I mean, if you actually want to find out more about all this research regarding to artifacts, the Earth Hour Commission is a multi-layered foundation dedicated to preserving and researching discoveries that may reshape how we understand human history, which is precisely this.
And how do people get to that organization? Is that the website that Cameron just had up there?
The website is actually no, they can access through, it's www and then the Earth Hour Commission.
Earth Hour Commission. Okay.
.org. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Look at this thing.
I know, right?
I
didn't tell you, but with this, something unique happened to me when I pulled. I called her out of the ground. I just hugged her for a while. I just hugged her. Again, I had never done that with an artifact. Yet it's, again, each artifact, if we want to explain this through the scientific lens, is emitting a very specific frequency. At that very specific frequency, sometimes it mirrors so in so much resonance with our own frequency that there is a type of entanglement. And that entanglement can be expressed in different manners, regarding to the emotional body. If there is a memory or there is, any type of deep remembrance being activated.
Yeah. Cameron, go back to that one for a second. I have a couple questions.
Oh my gosh.
The cone head?
Yeah.
And this is
Let's go back to that cone head.
Special one, a green one.
Yeah, that one doesn't look crystal. It looks like something else.
Yeah, so the cone head, so that was in there, and this is very cleaned up very nicely. This female energy.
Yes.
Let's forget about, okay, we know the science stuff. Share, if it's okay with you, go ahead and share what you I'll put you on the spot. Share with us what you channeled and what your interpretation of this skull is, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important.
I mean, I mean, I cannot say no, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, my pleasure. Thanks for asking this, Emery. Well, normally you would think, or what you could expect from your connection with each artifact would be for the artifact to tell you a little bit about himself or herself or itself. For me, it hasn't been the case always. In the case of this one, the heart expansive energy that it is creating, not only with me, with everyone else that was in the expedition, was immense. You know, everyone felt drawn into it, not only because it's beautifully aesthetically speaking, yet because of the frequency again that it is emitting. It activates the heart. You can address that to the fact that it's rose quartz, and the rose quartz, the hertz that it's generating, gets very much in alignment to the heart. Or you can explain it in other way. Regardless, so my experience with this artifact, aside of what I have already besides what I have already mentioned, is that it showed to me a lot of species that are already in their light state of existence, how they interact and communicate through light waves, through energy waves, and how these energy waves, from what linearly seem to be, you know, a serpentine form, if you zoom at that, there are actually geometries that could be said that are one way would be making love to one another. Another way to say it would be how they are fusioning with one another, and then resulting from this another geometry. So once you start building up that field of geometrical exchange within these light beings, then you get architectures, more complex architectures, like realities, like cities, like whatever you want, because again, whatever is created holofractally from that geometrical state, it can result into any type of information that you choose to. It also showed to me how how this process of traveling through these wormholes, how they communicate through the plasma tunnels, and how this level of non-locality continues to give a coherent message without being lost within densities by means of this. When you're a unified consciousness, the expression of a unified consciousness, perhaps you would say, well, and that, how is someone going to know I am sending a message and how it's not the being next to me? And the beauty of it is that it doesn't matter anymore. It's just about the information that is exchanged, because source is source. So ultimately, when you acknowledge yourself as source, as an extension of source, that type of emission remains that pure, because then it's not defined by ephemeral or limited constructions of itself. You know, and I think that's one of the biggest messages that we have, and I'm pretty sure that you have received this also from all the beings that you're connecting with, and that are that are supporting your mission. That if we are talking about achieving as a collective unity consciousness, then we are now focusing on the source message of all. You know, it's not more about me or you. That was left behind, other densities before. You know, now it's more about achieving the mission. You know, that source code. So, and
Beautiful. I hear you.
highly,
I hear you. I'm speechless. I'm all choked up. I'm trying not to tear up here. The you know, it's so deep. You know, what about the depictions? Are you allowed to talk about the depictions? You know, you have an extraterrestrial
yes,
elongated being with wings, it looks like, or leaves, or it looks like wings or leaves.
yes,
I don't know what that, I mean, I'm trying to zoom in
absolutely.
here. Yeah, because, you know, the hand's up and you have light coming out of the hand going through the halo of light. And then you also
Hmm.
have the ball behind the crescent of the C spine there. What I mean, then you have this thing, you know, above where the mustache, you know, right below the nose between the teeth. Very interesting something there. Then you have, you know, this other, you know, the eye
Hmm.
below and the jaw, or, you know, that could be interpreted many different ways because it means so many different things in so many different
I
civilizations.
know.
So, you know,
I,
I've seen that everywhere.
I,
And then you have this type of scarab looking beetle, just some of the things that stand out, of course, that everyone can see, hopefully. And when do you think, not scientifically, but when do you think this was created and what civilization created it?
well, all of those are very good questions. So let me go by order. Well, the wing being that we see in the upper part of the skull, the crystal skull, we see this figure in many of the artifacts, depicted in many of the artifacts. Of course, you cannot see well, but in after the eye, we see the eye, then we see the neck, the arm, and so forth. So we see that there is like a type of elongation also that goes and it's pointing out below. Well, that is something that we get to see very Egyptian like the the extension that the kings would use. So some of these beings show it from above the mouth, which could be like a breathing apparatus, and other beings which could be hybrids of these species that were using apparatus because they don't breathe the oxygen the type of here in earth on earth, that were hybrids that then were using it just to um, like as a device. Because one thing that I know is that the elements that they would use to create those um,
Mhm.
like ornaments, which are not ornaments, because we know that not even the necklaces that they would use, yes, they looked beautiful, but they had like a very superconductive purpose, to say it shortly. Of course, there is more than superconductivity in gold, but anyway, so I think that they were amplifying or stabilizing the connection that was coming from their crown chakra, which is highly elongated, which is highly expanded, and actually as a form, I said, of stabilizing through the field with their chin, like the energy coming from their chin, creating a line, a straight line. Winged beings we see everywhere. Some of these wings are organic. Some of these wings look like that they are inorganic, that they are more of like these devices that they use to fly. And then we have this very Egyptian endowment. So all of this upper part is very Egyptian. We see eyes, the presence of eyes, and also other type of hieroglyphs that are very present in Egyptian temples, ancient temples. Then we have like the scarab itself. This is a very beautiful one because it has what could be creating a different pattern from the wings, highly symmetrical, And we know that the beetle or the scarab can be related to many things, as resurrection, as even the way that they roll their ball, because the organic scarabs, one of the things that they do is get a ball made of, let's say, poop, and then they roll it all over the hill. But the way that they roll it goes in the very same pattern as the Milky Way, like reproducing that very same pattern. And not to mention that the scarabs levitate. The way that they are moving their wings is a Levitic technology. They're not flying. Now, then, and also, but this is for humans, the shape of their shell, of their upper part, it's resembling a skull, a human skull. So now, then we see below eyes everywhere. And as you said, I always ask the eye question, which is, what is the eye for you? And I have like a list of a million things or plus of what every person thinks of. But the thing is that, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that you have seen these eye-shaped UFOs.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This is a very common, depiction of, the shape and the energy source of the center.
Exactly.
Of these, the power source of this. And that's what the eye is kind of a message about. And one of the other things, with the scarab and the eye being there, is that, scarabs also, like dragonflies, have a different vibratory when they're have their wings out and they're flapping. It's still controversial, but there is anti-gravitic properties associated with the science behind how they fly and dragonflies, and the eyes, of course, replicating, showing that this is, part of maybe possibly the ship and the energy source. And so this is like, we're reading this, right now from the top down to the bottom, and I'm sure there's more, answers here. If I had this, if you shipped this to me, if I had it for a couple of weeks, but no,
you would do magic.
There's a lot going on with it. And just so people know, rose quartz crystal, that's why it's a little pink on top. Rose quartz doesn't always look like solid, like you see in the stores at the gem shops with this pink crystal. It is, this is a geopolymer mix too, most likely, that I think was first designed as a geopolymer, and then some being had definitely, made the carvings onto the geopolymer, because it's perfectly asymmetrical with the lines. It's not like perfectly lined up, which I would be questioning if it was too perfect, like I see in a lot of fake things. But this is it's so intricate with the amount of what they've done here and the message. So I'll let you. That's my take on the eye and the scarab. But go ahead.
Well, I agree, and to that I would add the three eyes. You like the place where they are located at. We see, of course, at the level of the third eye, and then we see
the third eye, right?
Yeah. Then we see another one above the mouth, and then in the chin. In every skull that we have found, at least in this place, they have an eye above the mouth and below. So for me, it's showing two high energetic points that are creating a trinity along with the third eye. So if we go holofractal, then we could say that they could be energetically connecting or had been configured to a nexus that is also that it also brings Orion. You know,
Oh, wow. Right. I see what you're saying.
yes. So I mean, and again, we can go into different
Yeah.
and infinite layers,
Yeah.
because there are many trinities, not only Orion,
Right.
but this is creating precisely, like that alignment. And if we go fractally again, we would say third eye, heart, and navel. So why that trinity? Why that trinity is so important? We began the webinar talking about, not only the triplets of triplets, yet the triangles that construct the vector equilibrium. So for me, a very easy way to explain this trinity would be that you have two poles that create a third party, which is a singularity that projects its result as a creation outside of itself, which is what we are experiencing as what we call the 3D. But for me, a huge call is to move forward into the awareness that we are already experiencing other densities, like the fourth density, the fifth one, and so forth, because uh, that's when we assume our interdimensional body, and actually get to harness and master the usage of that holofractal vessel, and master all these plasma physics and so forth. But anyway, so another point that I have found that it's super important, and even to generate or stabilize, interestingly enough, the plasma body, is the bridge of the nose. Oh, I'm disappearing. Let me see. Let me turn on the lights here, because I'm already
Yeah. You're fine now.
disappearing.
Yeah, sure. Up to dematerialized. Yeah, fascinating, right? Everyone.
Yeah,
We
much better.
have tens of thousands of these artifacts, and they just get more intricate as the years go by.
Yeah, I agree. And for instance, you know that in ancient times, when civilization wanted to invade another one and accomplished it, one of the first things that they would do with the leftovers of the city, of the temples, and so forth, to show dominion over the other, they would break the nose of the statues.
Yeah.
Why the nose? Because it's a highly energetic point that is aligned directly to all the area of the pineal gland. The olfactive conduits are perfectly aligned to not only the pineal gland, but all the area of the insula lobe. So whatever happens there, it's directly connected to all that area. I don't know if I will just talk about my experience, but just to say an example, even when I'm doing fire breath work, the first thing that I feel is my nose bridge going numb, like huge electric pulses, and then going numb, or when I'm receiving a lot of information as well.
Yeah,
And
no, it's fascinating. Yes.
and another practice that I have seen is when two persons, or two beings, connect the nose bridge one with the other,
Yeah.
as if they were kissing each other. What they are creating is this toroidal field that, once the energy is entangled enough from the nose bridge of one another, then they start expanding their plasma field and emitting a subtle light, not as themselves lighting up, yet enlightening the field around them, if you know what I mean. So,
Yes, yeah,
but
no, I get it.
yeah,
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 it makes total sense. Yeah, and there are depictions of the whole leaning in. I've seen it before on other tablets and stuff where they're touching, perfectly alignment, like where they're bending over and they're doing you think you're doing third eye, but they're actually a little bit lower, where the third eye is hitting right into that notch there between the eyes. So it's interesting that you brought up that.
yeah. And again, we could go the coding because once you put eye to eye and nose bridge to nose bridge, you're creating a triangle that it's looking
Yeah,
to
right.
yeah.
Yes.
So you're anchoring the energy there. So it's majestic how we are creating geometries all the time. And just to you mentioned about the eye, what was my total
Mhm.
input about it? Well, regarding to these spaceships with the eye form, that there was one that just appeared in Brazil. Of course, there are many more. I
Mhm.
think that yes, they were representing the black hole nexus.
Mhm.
Yes, they were representing a spaceship nexus that is connected to another being that they constantly show in the artifacts, which is an eye-headed being. This very same eye that you see, for instance, at the bottom in the chin, now you just add a body to it, wings, 4 wings, and now you have this other figure that is present in most of the artifacts. Who is this being? Is this being the one that is behind all this cosmic nexus? And I think that's what do you think about that? What would you say about that, Emery?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell by just looking at the glyphs, but I do feel, of course, that there are showing the interconnection, and that's the other part of a lot of the messages, is the interconnection of being, resonating with, of course, the other races and also the light of the universe, and that you are all that is, of course, the simple method of that. But there's a lot more going on here than just that. Like, now that he's zoomed in here, we can see the face. I don't know if that was this protrusion coming out was just because the artifact is old, or if that is the energy that comes from above, comes back through the skull. And they say that
Mm-hmm.
you do have this energy that comes out. See the nose
Yes.
there and the mouth, the energy coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's in perfect alignment. If you look at the line that's the skull going all the way down, I mean, it's a perfect showing that energy is still continuing,
Yes. Yes.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. Uh I'm so
Yeah.
happy that yeah.
You see
That
what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of times it'll go somewhere into the body. I have a good depiction of it. I could show you guys if you want me to go grab it. But it is about yeah, I have a painting that will blow your mind. But yeah, so that's my kind of like take on it. I don't want to spend too much time because I know you have so many other cool things. But I just thank you for sharing what you really experience with that, and I think it's great that we kind of broke that down a little bit, for everyone, because it is a fascinating piece, and there's just so much going on there energetically, and the polymers and the rose quartz and the depictions. Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic. What do you want to go from here? Just like so many amazing videos and stuff. I'm so
I
excited. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm launching. I feel like this is like the disclosure day for artifacts.
Well, just I want to say something about like concluding with that artifact and
Mhm.
others, and this eyed figured
Yeah.
I headed being is, one of the messages that I have been receiving over and over again, and each time is clearer and being proved by everything that is showing up in this reality, is that there is a huge cosmic nexus. A huge cosmic nexus that is very much represented by the eye and by the circuitry. The circuitry would be its quantum computing state, and how it is embedded within this lattice. The eye would be the representation of, let's say, a higher density. Why? Because it's representing the fundamentals of the universe, like a way of saying, hey, this is a black hole. It's the black hole network. And the thing is that every time that we are seeing one of these artifacts, that we are resting our eyes on those eyes, they have a code. They have a code that is interconnected non-evidently to a nexus that was configured by some beings. So for every time that we see it, we are activating that nexus. Why? Because through our awareness, then we're bringing it back to life. Because we are allowing for the process of consciousness to restart, and our interaction with this nexus to revive. So for every, again, artifact that we see with these codes, for every time that we see the circuitry code, for every time that we like even look at the Native American tribes, they had very subtle forms of this code. So what does this code is storing? And for me, the information is so critical of what is storing, because we could see that even there were spectral spheres, as the Buga sphere, that were not only recollecting information from the field, they were emitting the information that is linked to this interface and programming this pyramidal network with different intentions that would then program the water and then program the deeper layers of oxygen under the earth and go into that continuum of piezoelectric behavior that would reflect back and forward into our own water, into our and the oxygen in the surface. That's how they would keep coherence.
That's right.
And for me, they're trying for us to remember by seeing those codes, because the memory is there stored.
You put that so perfect that I'm just amazed that you said that. And I'm going to, of course, now break the whole, it's awesome. Now we're going to do another breakthrough. You just broke it through. You just forget it. Now we're there. Now I can't not say it. So here's the first question. Have you ever seen an exact same skull, just like exact, ever? I've never seen it.
No.
There's also another thing that you'll never usually find an exactness on in the Indiana Jones world that we live in. When you're doing archaeological stuff and you're finding treasure chest and all sorts of things that are organically made, this is actually a consciousness assisted technology. This is a key. And I didn't see the behind. I don't know if you have a picture of behind what's behind it, but do we have a picture of what's behind it? No. You don't have to get it. It's fine.
Okay.
So what I'm getting at is this is a key, a multiple bunch of keys, and this is one of the keys that can open a lot of different things. Now, I'm not talking about, yes, this could be a key that you place it into somewhere like you see in the movies and something happens, but this is a key that I'm getting for the aquifers. This is a key for the water. This is definitely a key that if you did take this and make a jello mold of it and then take that out, let's say, and then make a form of that, and then put water in it, the form, then test it. I guarantee it'd probably be restructured, and there'll be some other electrical activities, possibly even a higher oxygenation concentration. So I'm glad you put that whole thing together. I wasn't going to get into all that is, but there is a lot of these consciousness-assisted technology, geopolymer artifacts that actually are doing things or can do things once they're activated with light or water. And you're finding these, of course, in desert areas. You're being really careful and brushing them away and then rinsing them with water and then putting light on them. So I think this is a great start to activating these things through the human light body, because the light body also, that might be the key, and you're most likely the door.
Sorry. Well, we are, and thank you as well for everything that you're doing, because I know how passionate you are about this. And I think that the key to be passionate about this is that that you're not just handling objects. You are connecting with highly advanced consciousnesses that express themselves through every depictions, through every artifact as a whole, through the way that they interact with you. It's a whole universe. So it's a huge honor and a huge responsibility as well. This is why it took so long. And now that we are here, it's so exciting because I know that each one is bringing a piece of the puzzle. So, like the artifacts themselves, you said they're unique. There is no artifact that is, like produced in series, like as in a factory. Every artifact is unique. And another thing that you said about the water and the correlation, what came to me is like imagine when our body is coherent enough to generate a photonic emission to the artifact, that our only presence is activating it, and it is reinforcing the very same energy that resides within the artifact that has stored for so many years. So one of the things that I love to see how they interact is not only by putting, like UV light on them, is also how they interact with the different elements, with the sun, with the moon, with the water. And we have been doing like very interesting tests of the different shapes that they generate through when you freeze the water. It's impressive, because we know how the water immediately captures the information of its surrounding and transmits it through the patterns that it generates at a molecular level.
And those patterns are the map that you need to decipher in the multi-cosmical dimension, because that's the first step, is getting those patterns, whether you're getting them and drawing them like you do, or you're breaking it down mathematically like you do, or like you're, putting the glyphs together and then saying, okay, that's a picture, but what if I actually turn that 3-dimensionally, 4th-dimensionally, then outlined all that with wires and then put it up to the sun and see what shines through it on the wall. These are just funny things I'm just saying out loud, because this is what we do, guys, in science with these things. I know it sounds crazy, but these are some of the ways that the brain needs to see the shapes to understand and to transmit and receive the information, so we can figure out, because all these things are here to help. It's not just like, oh, we collect these for fun and stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful, it's fun, but there's so much more to it that we're proving that can help humanity.
I couldn't agree more. And this is why I was saying in the beginning, like I designed this structured as the upgrade of the pyramids, and having at the center one of the artifacts, devices that will be unearthed at some point, because I feel that there is so much that is going to be taking place, like throughout the end of the year and next year, like a lot of things emerging from the Grand Canyon, and like
Yeah.
allowed to be put out there. I can't wait for those things to come back online. It's like, and I know
It's
that you have many stories on that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is something that's been heavily guarded. These civilizations in the Grand Canyon and the bases, the crafts, the ancient ruins that are there that are completely off limits. I think, that's kind of mainstream now with a lot of the podcasters out there, the big ones out there, won't name names, have done a lot of investigations. And, there's a lot of hardcore climbers and people that go out there or try to fly out there. I know many of my colleagues have rented helicopters here and thought, oh, we'll just go over there, land in these coordinates, and the helicopter flies. No, I can't go over there. What do you mean you can't go over there? That airspace is off limits.
Forbidden. Yeah.
Well, why? There's nothing out there. It's just a big hole in the ground. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
No, I know the people. I know two people that worked on those projects a long time ago, and they told me a lot. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to. I mean, but it's coming out. I mean, and the artifacts too. Like you said, there's artifacts that have been brought back that are being questioned, and that have been sneaked out. They weren't, legally taken out. These people took them, and now they're afraid for their life. It's all fun and games when you're there and you take something, but then what are you going to do with it? And that's a lot that has to do with a lot of the scientists, paleontologists that are out there that engineered amazing things, and you've proven a lot of scientific stuff, but it's also the real reason is because what we're showing you is disruptive technology. And that's why it's dangerous.
Yes. Yes.
So there.
Drop the bomb. Okay.
That was great.
It was more of a harmonic wave. It's like music to my ears. It's music to my ears because it's something that needs to happen. If we are talking about new Earth, then things need to, come to the light. And of course, that's going to continue generating uncomfortability on many people. But what we're going to do, this is happening anyway. And you were talking about the Aquaferians, and I love that because you see them a lot in the depictions. And the depictions, well, we know that a lot of Earth, was underwater. Now, where the desertic parts are.
That was the deepest part of the oceans. Yeah.
Exactly. And one of the things that calls in my attention the most is that you see in these Aquaferian beings that, or even mirror beings, that in their tail, they have a pine cone just in the intersection of the fins. And also above, they have the pine cone below and they have the pine cone above. So I would love to listen. What do you have to say on this? What's your take on this? Do you want me to say mine first or you go first?
Yeah, you can say it. Yeah, you go first. Let's see what you got.
Okay. So for me, looking at it through a very quantum physics lens, when we're talking about a transversal wormhole, the more that it's intertwined, the more that it's torsioned, then what we generate, let's say it's a C. So then you have point A that is connecting to point B, but for that it's generating a curvature in the body, and such as a magnet, like the magnet that we were seeing in the other artifact. So for me, it's showing, bottom line, the huge capability that they have to travel through the quantum, through the very same liquid crystalline lattice of the water at its purest state. So it's like opening portals here and there. Sometimes we think, oh, there is one Stargate in the whole area of Cuba. Well, actually,
Oh, now you're opening. Now
yeah.
you're talking classified stuff. All right. Oh my goodness.
I told you, 11 hours.
We got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, we can definitely always do more. I mean, I'm more than happy. I mean,
Well,
UK,
no,
and
keep going. I want to hear. Keep going with the pine cone thing.
yeah, well, and again, like the very same nature of the pine cone, what is it? It's the Fibonacci, it's the golden ratio. So it's going deep on and on and on and on, representing the the continuum of space-time. So if we add that component to the fact of that uh, wormhole that is representing how like we know that water is actually the bridge between matter and the quantum field when it's at its structured state. So now imagine swimming through that water at its purest state. You're swimming through the quantum field, and then you're opening portal here and there, and traveling through spatiotemporal constants and being the very same golden ratio with your body. And I think that this is one of the things that they are depicting through that. What would you say about it?
Yeah, I mean, it has to do with the energy, number one, and it has to do just like, everyone, and even pop culture, we've been talking about pine cones forever, thanks to David Wilcock and all the cool stuff he's brought out.
Yeah.
And what happens is, you just like in that statue, you have these three eyes, which is fascinating, which are kind of a representation of chakras and the other energy fields, because you did mention the heart eye, the navel eye. People don't really talk about that. That's kind of where it all originated from, actually. And a lot of these species of Aquaferians, there's many different kinds, by the way. It's not just one that looks like a mermaid. I've done a bunch of episodes on this, like in the first 10 seasons of Cosmic Disclosure. The ones that we have seen, they have this bulbulous acorn, shape in between the fins. But the one up here is not, it's not attached. It's more of on a tether. Kind of like those, remember those deep sea fish that have the little fake thing going?
Yes.
And that might look like a dot to you, but on a special scope that we have, it's actually the acorn shape. And inside the acorn shape, imagine a nautilus shell. You know what a nautilus shell is?
Yes. I love those ones.
That's really what it looks like. So that's a secret.
Of course.
And what is that? The what? The Fibonacci code.
The Fibonacci.
Yeah.
And as the horn of the unicorn.
Yeah. I've never said that publicly, by the way.
Oh.
So that's,
Thanks.
that's what they're depicting, but on the actual bodies, that's what we found.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. And thank you so much for saying this, because this is how I see reality, you can see.
I'm just confirming everything that you've already worked on for years and years and years. But yeah, this is true. This is very true.
Yes. And that's what also takes place with our third eye. When we're amplifying it, that's the field that it's generating. It's that Fibonacci sequence, vortex like, projecting or like the horn of the unicorn. This is why one of the reasons why the horn of the unicorn at some point was so wanted, as even the very same horns of the elephants, made of ivory. How much information they are storing. But and
don't forget, the unicorns are the rainbow of light gods, and that is projected from that, because that's what's bringing the light in through their system. So their toroidal field is still a toroidal field, but it's multi-dimensional, and they're using that, and that's why they're depicted as these mystical creatures that can fly and appear here, then over there. So they are a type of extraterrestrial. They are they are the craft, they are all that too. And the light is the secret too to these nautiluses and to the pine cones, and how the energy is counterclockwise going or clockwise. And what's really interesting is they're all different. That we've never seen. It's like a fingerprint. There's never been one that's actually been the same shape, the same inside, has special deviations that are made of crystals that reflect light. So that's how we knew that they're using light, just kind of like dolphins use sonar. Well, there's the dolphins also, and other mammals like ourselves have crystals in them. Like our pineal gland in our inner ear too, we have crystals.
Yes.
And they're not as bad as what the medical, what they're saying medically out there. It's not as bad as you think. Calcification definitely can suppress a lot of things, but the little crystals are not a bad thing. And sometimes you have to get calcified first to make the crystals, kind of like stalagmites and stalactites in a cave. And then once that gets to a certain level of energy, those crystals chelate the calcified by itself, and through deep meditation, through the different types of water that you're drinking.
Yes, because if, like, let's say the water that you're drinking, the quality, another name, as we know, is the liquid crystalline lattice. So you are practically becoming a crystal. Your crystalline body, the Christ consciousness, which is a rainbow because it's the refraction of the emission of light. How they are communicating to the universe, the feedback, how we are. Another thing that came to me while you were saying this is that the way tell me, go ahead.
No, I have to show you this because my mat on my computer is your same background.
Oh.
I know. You know me. I'm a wackadoodle sometimes, but so it's like those colors of the nebulas that are interpreted by the cameras. Really, those colors do exist. Those are real colors, and those are the colors of the unicorn, colors of the cosmic rainbow, we call it. And that, go ahead. And these are the colors that I'm attracted to. I just love these colors. And I'm just,
Yeah, me too. No, please. Thank you for doing that, because this is hilarious. That's what the next thing that I was going to say, that the nebula located in the Monoceros constellation, Monoceros being the constellation of the unicorn, is the Heart Nebula.
Oh, I love that one. Yes.
Yes. So now, what about the monarchy, the UK monarchy flag that has the king, the lion, and then the shield, and then it has a chained unicorn? Yeah.
I mean, this is another power struggle.
Yeah.
It is an ongoing representation of just the yin and yang. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to be negative about it.
Yeah, me neither. I'm here.
There's so many beautiful things about just that being said. Means those beings get it, we get it, and it's kind of just it's just you got to look at that as, oh my gosh, no, it's not like someone controlling someone. It's more like, there's going to be this positive, negative, like we see in science all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, and with positive, negative, that energy can be used for whatever energy you want to do to heal the planet, heal yourself.
Yes, holographic polarization needs to be for consciousness as singularity to be. So yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I am enjoying this talk very, 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 very much. Very, very much. We have gone through the... I'm sorry.
Yeah, we went through the whole universe. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, did you want to show the... Let's see what we have here. Hey Donna, how you doing? You want to show another video or something?
Well, yes, go ahead,
What's your
Cameron.
time? What's your
Thank
time?
you.
What's your time? I know.
The only thing that I'm
Mhm.
like concerned or taking care of is that I have 50% of battery because there were things taking place that that I transcended in order to be here with you guys, like one thing after another,
No, no,
So
I know
one of
you're on a
those things.
schedule. You're at a big meeting, and yeah, I know you have things going on. I know we've already hit our 2-hour mark.
I mean,
So
I
we'll
will love
wrap it
at
up
some
here.
point. Yeah,
Well,
no, no.
this is the part 10, 11, 12, 33
Yes.
ongoing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. YssaH, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure and fun talking about the quantum, the consciousness, and everything wrapped into one. And, congratulations on your new finds.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, now Frank is going to be presenting it part of
Yeah.
these videos at the disclosure in Mackinac. He's
Yeah,
preparing.
yes, the disclosure in Mackinac. And that's a physical thing, or is that just all online?
No, it's physical. It's physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me some information, I think, and that you did too. And isn't it coming up like soon?
It's going
Or
to
the
be September 30th to August the 1st.
Okay, September. I mean, no, August, September. It'd be August 30th to September 1st, maybe.
Yeah, the other way around. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Depending
August
on depends what dimension you're in.
31st. The thing is that I'm normally in other dimensions, not in this one. So
are you you're gonna be there, right? Or are you gonna be there?
yes, I'm going to be there. Yes.
All right, I will definitely be checking the schedule. I know he asked me to come out there. I'll see what we have going on. It is quite the it is a really great conference. I mean, it has a lot of, and I like it because the way he's doing it, everyone gets a chance to speak. It's not one of those ones where you have to choose between YssaH or me. Of course, everyone would go see YssaH, but
Of course,
it's one of these
everyone would
things.
go and see you.
Everyone, gets a chance to speak, and that's what I like about these smaller conferences. You just get so much more out of them, like the ones we just did in Sedona at Rion. It's really really fascinating stuff. So we'll keep you abroad of that. Sign up on our subscription at emerystarlabs.com, emerysmith.co, Cosmic Disclosure Alliance Facebook page. You got to be on it if you like this stuff. Plus, we update everyone on there with all these new shows we're having. We are switching to a subscription-based YouTube channel because it's more cost effective for all the hardcore people that have been joining up. And we're just trying to save you guys money, but instead of spending X amount of dollars every weekend, you just pay one small fee and then you get all of them all year round. So YssaH, I'm looking forward to these new discoveries and also having our great conversations behind the scenes that we can share with people like these. These are the conversations YssaH and I have all the time that, it's time for you guys to know and explain, both the science and the conscious collective, what this really means and where it is going. And it is all very positive. And I want to thank you guys for your support. And you can always catch me on Gaia TV on Cosmic Disclosure. I'm trying to get YssaH on that show here shortly. And that'll be very exciting. If you like this stuff, please write in and email us at emerystarlabs@gmail.com. And well, thank you so much, YssaH.
No, thank you. And again, actually there were some slides that I shared with Cameron, about the light embodiment. I mean, the only thing that concerns me is that at some point my camera will go off.
The camera has we got 50% though. That's a lot of energy. Here, let me just boost it up real quick.
Okay. Oh wow, it went all the way to 99%. 0.999999% of
Oh,
battery. Thanks. Okay. Well,
that's
yeah.
classified.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So what do you want? I'll show your, let's show one last thing,
oh,
because I really
there
want
is,
them.
yeah, there is one that I just sent you, Cameron. Thank you, about the skull that I sent to you, Emery, as well, like the small one, the hybrid one. It's in the WhatsApp group, actually.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, because those ones.
Show Cameron on your phone which one it is. Show him on the camera on the video, and then he'll bring it up.
Okay. Let me
We have
see.
so many, like we have just hundreds of her videos and her diagrams and her pictures explaining this.
Okay, so it is. No, it is this one.
Oh, the skull.
The skull. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
we're allowed to talk about that one.
Yeah, we are.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a must. So
Yeah, that's the new one that she discovered, and I was lucky enough to be part of that. She sent it to me, and we had a great discussion about this new skull. Cameron's going to look for it and put it up there. Can we show the actual skull part, like the?
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, oh, thank you. I thought
You
that
know
I
what
had
was
sent it to
interesting
him.
send him that. Just send it to him, and then he'll pop it up. Yeah. So this new
Yes.
skull that they have discovered is a type of like fossilized hybrid. It's a fossilized kind of programmed life form. And I can tell that by the striations that are on the skull. Like when we grow stuff in the lab, it looks, the cells and the strands of the tissue, which we would refer to that as like the fibrin strands. That fibrin is a collagen that is in your blood, it's in your plasma. So when you clot, you form fibrin, and the platelets migrate in there, release growth factors, and heal your wound. But on this one, it's so evident in the skull how it was structured with these things. Oh, look, here it is. Wow, that is. And you can see all those little pittings.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'll let you go. Go. You can tell. Where'd you get this, and how did? I mean, I know you can't tell us where, but you can tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, actually, like this is in the hands of one elder. So they started doing studies on it. They were kind enough, like to share this, and so now, for instance, these X-rays were taken on it, and now it's more about checking what other tests can be done, which many can be done, so we will see, because it doesn't depend on me. If it depended on me, like already I would have sent to you a powdered sample of the bone.
I was begging her, hey, while you're there, just scrape a little bit inside a sterile vial and send it to me. But after looking at this with my orthopedic people, my paleontologist, and my radiologist, this is a really fascinating specimen. We see a lot of these in the projects because these were manufactured, meaning these beings were manufactured, or it was manufactured, the actual skull, the skeletal part. I mean, look at this, guys. This is first time anyone's seeing this. You guys are really blessed to see this right now, because it's not even out yet, and I'm glad you were able to allow us to see this. It's fascinating, and the actual skull too. But what do you want to say about it? You tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll get into
yeah
rest.
Well, there are different images so that people can also see the actual skull and also its size. We see that there are no sutures, that's the first, what we could call, anomaly, and they're very much connected to its hybrid nature, as you were saying, Emery. And Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron's got this one. He'll put it up there.
Yes. And what surprised me the most is the size. Of course, many things, like the composition of the very same bone. It gives away, like a fossilized idea when you see it in the beginning, but not fully, in a way that there is like a lot of porosity. And now when you said that, when you told me about its hybrid nature, I said, yeah, it makes complete sense. So um one of the things again that caught more my attention was the size, and also the type of mouth that it has. It's like a plate. Like the tribes in Africa that wear a plate to make their mouth like this. Well, that's what came to my head, to my mind. What about you, Emery?
Yeah, well, when you see the plates and you see the mandible, you see the eye setting, the eye sockets, this, you can really, especially on the X-ray, you can see there's a lot more to it. And because you don't see, like you said, all the cranial sutures, you don't see, it definitely has, different parts of the skeletal system, even though it's fossilized somewhat, that it still shows that. But all the pitting and the way, this is how it would look when you grow a skeletal bone. So you can see the cancellous bone and there's different types of bone, and you can tell that these osteocytes were that they grew a lot faster than a normal bone would grow. And that's what gives this kind of pitting in the skull structure itself. And when you look at this, it's like, oh my gosh, this is just kind of incomplete. But there's a lot going on when you look at the X-ray. This is really just a great specimen. I mean, the size is just incredible. When you look at the size, because it doesn't, this is not a monkey. This is not of course, a complete human skull. This is completely something different that's been manufactured. This is something we see on a lot of different hybrid technology programs. And it's just so dense. I'm sure there's a lot of calcification. I'm not sure, the region it was found in, or there you go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's just, this is something you can't make up, because you can see the individual parts of this, the way it, fossilized over, millions of years. And it's just, it's a design. It's not a regular growth pattern that we see in skulls today, or even skulls that we have excavated, that are millions of years of age, or hundreds of thousands of years of age. So it's too early to say too much. But that's my overall, without, this is not a species, of course, that we have here on planet Earth. And it's not a species that has ever been discovered before, as far as mammalian or animalistic.
Yeah,
these are
the foramen
another
magnum.
But it does have reptilian behavior. When you look at it from this side, when you look at alligators and crocodiles and stuff, you see this overbite. You see, the overbite coming down. We don't see any, teeth or anything like that. But this is enough to be definitely looked at by the scholars. And, I'm actually sending this to our team that specializes in this, to maybe get a white paper, get something just super substantial of what they think it might be. Because right now it's just kind of hypothetically speaking.
Exactly.
We don't know yet,
Yeah, exactly. Yet I love the way that you already based on the, look at the size.
Yeah, now you guys can see it. That's the actual size. They're doing what we call a fluoroscopy X-ray scan on it. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we can see the foramen magnum, the hole where the what would be the vertebral column goes.
Yeah, the vertebral body there.
Yeah.
That's where the brain stems, and there's two giant holes there. You know, we're looking at a very advanced hybrid or advanced program life form of some sort that, of course, had tissue in it, and it might have had, you know, other things in it. I mean, it's reflecting off the X-ray radiology machine, so that's a really great sign that you know, this is definitely a skull. It's not something that was just put together. It's pretty cohesive with the mandible, and you know, there are parts of it you can see that there's separate bones that are attached, you know, that were, you know, fossilized or partially fossilized. Yeah, it's a really fascinating piece. I'm really looking forward to working on this project with you.
Yes, me too. Well, let me get a hang on like talking to.
Yeah, super sensitive.
Yeah,
very sensitive people. This is, you know, because, you know, this is going to break through a lot of. This is disruptive archaeological findings.
Yes.
So, and that's kind of what we're into, and you know, someone has to answer.
Exactly.
And you're working. You started working, right, with other universities. You told me, and you know, it's great to include, you know, other. You know, we have to get second, third, fourth, fifth opinions. That's the whole. You know, when I come up with developments, I make sure I get 20 of the top people around the world, their specialty, to tell me what this is, and give me their thoughts before like going public. And like, it's a really sensitive situation with the owner of this, and he's being super careful, which we understand. But you know, YssaH has been gifted the opportunity to get some preliminary testing done. So I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, anyway, the images and so forth that were kindly shared with me. So anyway, well, I think that we can actually leave the rest of the videos for later.
Okay.
And
sounds good.
Yes, to also give a little bit of I think this was a big closure for
this was a big disclosure. This one was a big drop.
Yeah.
And I love it. You know, if they only knew the rest, but they're gonna find out in time. And you know, we're out here working for you guys and trying to figure it out, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on.
Yes.
YssaH,
just when they
thought,
thank you. Just when they thought that it was over, ta-da.
No, it's never over.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But anyway, so thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to sharing with you. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, Darla. Thank you, everyone. You're a super powerful team. I love it. And so anyway, we'll be seeing each other soon, and you will let us know about Machina, you know, disclosure in Machina. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope that you have enjoyed as much as we did going through the whole universe just in 2 hours and 19 minutes.
That's pretty good for us. That's pretty good.
Yes, I agree.
We'll have a full day one day. We'll just do a full day, and we'll take breaks and just go through everything.
Yeah,
you know, your presentation is fantastic. You know, I've seen it many times, but you can't do it in 45 minutes on stage. You know, it's something that we know. That's why we break this up, you know, on Sundays and try to get you in every 6 weeks. And
Thank you.
and update it. But once we get you on the show, I think it's going to be a major breakthrough. And I think I can't speak for Gaia TV, but I think the listeners would love to have you on. All right.
Thank you.
That being
Thank
said,
you.
much love and light.
Much love to you too, to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your support. We appreciate you guys. Until next time.
Until next time.